everybody, and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I'll be doing a 2022 Senate election or governor election prediction. We did just recently get this map on yapmess.com. UEP did just make a video recently, so this was, I guess, inspired by his video, just since he made one of these doing these. But yeah, also apologies for this in the bottom right hand corner, this controller. I downloaded some video game on Google like the Google Play Store, and for whatever reason that's there. I don't know if it's like a symptom of it or if it's just randomly appearing or what. I'll see what I can do to try and make it go away though. Anyway, so label the Democrats safe states. New Mexico I think will be safe. Hawaii will probably be safe. Maryland, no, this is a big one. Maryland, Larry Hogan won by a pretty large margin. However, he is term limited, so he won't be running again. So I think that unless the Maryland GOP runs a Hogan-like candidate, it'll probably be safe. New Jersey it could be likely. We can go look at 2018 in New Jersey. Oh, what am I thinking? 2018. The New Jersey seat's up in 2021. Sorry. New Jersey and Virginia are both up in 2021. Sorry, I wasn't thinking straight. Virginia will probably end up being likely. I can go see if I can get the exit polls up real quick. Sorry, not exit polls, presidential results. And if we can go look at Phil Murphy's results in 2017, when he won by, I think it was 14.1%. I'm using CNN right now because I can just go back and go straight to the Virginia ones. I mean, like, a lot of New Jersey is just like Philadelphia suburbs, I think over here, and then New York City suburbs over here. So I mean, like, it's a lot of suburbs, and considering that was in 2017, I think after 4 years it'll probably shift and enough, like the little bit that it needs to keep it safe. Virginia, I mean, like, it could be lean. We can go back over here and we can actually go scroll up to the New York Times ones. I just looked up 2017 gubernatorial or governor results. We can go look at these results from the New York Times. And I mean, like, he didn't win by an insanely large margin. Ralph Northam only won by 8.9%, but that's still likely. And that was in 2017 after Clinton had just beaten Trump there by a small margin. I'm just going to use Jackson Jude because for whatever reason I don't like to open the results in New York Times. So it was only a 5.3% margin of victory for Clinton. I mean, like, Biden almost doubled it. It'll probably be like 11-12% margin of victory for whoever the Virginia Democratic Party ends up running. Also, I forgot to mention that the Virginia GOP, I can't speak today, is incompetent. They're an awful GOP. Oh, by the way, from Mexico, I completely forgot to talk about this. I mean, like, Michelle Lujan Grisham literally flipped it and carried it by almost a safe margin, like 14.4%, I think. And considering the fact that was 4 years before and the state's going to shift and now she'll have the incumbency, even though this is supposed to be a quote-unquote red wave, she'll probably still win the seat by a safe margin. For the Republicans, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, I'm not necessarily going to say is safe. Nebraska, Oklahoma will be safe. Arkansas, I mean, like, Asa Hutchinson, I think, is term limited, and I think Sarah Sanders is running for the seat. So, I mean, like, there's just little to talk about there. She's probably going to still win by a safe margin. Tennessee, Alabama, Iowa, I mean, like, it'll probably be likely instead of safe. We can go look at Kim Reynolds' margin of victory. She narrowly won the race. And this was in 2017, so it'll probably still end up being a likely race. Even though Iowa and Ohio do like their incumbents, it'll still probably be likely. Vermont, Massachusetts, and that is it. Maybe Alaska. Just interested. I actually do want to go see how much Mike Dunleavy won there. Okay, won about 6%. That's interesting. Anyways, so I mean, like, looking at these are mostly not surprises. I'm sorry, I just almost like slurred it because I was like surprised and I said surprises. These are all pretty much expected. For the Democrats' likely states, Oregon, California, I'll get to that. Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, Michigan, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I've got New York. It'll probably be safe. Cuomo, is obviously having all these scandals going around right now. He'll likely not be the nominee. I mean, like, Democrat, honestly, there's a good chance that he gets, I guess it's impeached, by the state senate, and he's just not going to be able to do well enough. and Maine. So looking at these, California, this is because of Newsom and the recall. I mean, like he won it pretty handily. I can't talk today. Um, in 2018, but Newsom has lost popularity since then. He's not very popular. And considering the fact that I've seen people talking about this. I think it's Kevin Faulconer could run. Um, and he's supposedly a strong candidate. I'll probably narrowly be likely. If not, it'll probably be like a 20% margin of victory for Newsom, just with all this recall stuff. Probably still be likely. In Oregon, Kate Brown, she won it by a likely margin. She won it by 6.4. It'll probably be an increased margin of victory, probably like a 10.5% margin of victory, but I'll probably say likely. In Colorado, Jared Polis, he didn't win by an insane margin of victory. He won it by, I think it's 10.6%. Biden did well there, and this would have been 4 years before, but he'll still probably carry it by similar margins to Biden, maybe a little more. Um, Minnesota, Tim Walz, he won by 11.5%, which is a pretty large margin of victory, especially for the state of Minnesota. And it's obviously not. I don't really think that Minnesota is shifting at the moment. But considering the fact that he was the incumbent, but considering the fact that he's still the incumbent, he'll probably do well. Illinois, J.B. Pritzker flipped the seat, and he won it by a pretty decent margin. It could still honestly be safe. Just the fact that it's expected to maybe be a red wave. Actually, well, looking back on this, it would be on the line. It will be similar to how it voted on the presidential level. It was like 17% for Biden, so it'll be close between being likely or safe. Pritzker did manage to flip it and carry it by a safe margin. It is somewhat shifting to the right. But it'll probably still. I'm gonna label it safe. I think that Pritzker will probably. We can go look at this. At Pritzker's approval, these are not. These are outdated. These are fairly outdated. But he had a net approval. Well, his approval at the point of the election, or probably around when he was inaugurated, so it's close to the point of the election, probably was a positive by like 11%. So it'll be on the line between being likely or safe. It'll be more competitive in the presidential election, though. I can tell you that. Connecticut, Rhode Island. These northeastern states, for whatever reason, don't like electing Democrats. I don't understand that 100% why. It's weird. Like, for whatever reason, like states like Montana like to elect Democrats to statewide and Senate levels, while northeastern states like to elect Democrats to the presidential or to the governor or to Republicans to the gubernatorial level. It's kind of confusing. Ned Lamont managed to still carry the state. By the way, I don't know how his name's pronounced. If it was Lamont or Lamont, I'm not great at pronouncing names. But it is Connecticut, and it is sort of shifting to the right, but he'll still probably carry it by like a pretty large margin of victory, probably like a 8-9% margin of victory. Rhode Island, similar thing. It was like 25%. Um, it's not in Rhode Island or not Massachusetts. Virginia Raimondo, but she is not the current governor. I don't actually know what happened. I might need to read into that some. But for whatever reason, I'm not 100% what happened. Governor right now is Daniel McKee. I'll once again, have to read into that. Sorry for not being 100% informed. But once again, the state doesn't necessarily like to elect Democrats. It could also be safe. They like to elect these Republicans, and it's shifting to the right. I don't know if I said this in a previous video, but if I did, it would have been like in October. But I do believe that Rhode Island will overtake New Hampshire and become the next major, which there aren't really many, major northeastern swing state. Maybe Connecticut. They both could, but I do think that it'll be on the line between likely and safe. A lot of this I'm not 100% like I've said this about the House. I'm also saying with the gubernatorial level. My specialty is the Senate. Gubernatorial levels or gubernatorial elections, not levels. What I'm saying, elections are kind of strange if I'm being honest. So I'm not great with them, but I'm trying to learn more about them. It's once again I'm not great with these. Anyways, back to this. I do think it'll be on like the line between likely or safe. but I mean, like it'll probably end up being safe. It could be likely though. These northeastern states just don't like to elect Democrats. For the GOP's likely states, South Dakota, Kansas, actually not Kansas, sorry, Texas, Florida. Florida could be safe. South Carolina, Iowa, Ohio, and Alaska. So looking at this, South Dakota, Kristi Noem, um, I mean, she didn't win it by a huge margin. She'll probably improve drastically, but still, she didn't win it by a lot. And her handling of the COVID-19 pandemic is obviously going to be a weak spot. It'll probably be for the most part forgotten about by 2022, but still, it could be a bad spot in the state of just interested to see Nebraska margin of victory. Now it's kind of odd. In the state of Texas, Greg Abbott. I mean, like he won by 13.3%, which was obviously much farther to the left than where the state was at the time. Abbott is a strong candidate. He's a pretty strong suburban candidate. I'll give him that. I think on the presidential level, he probably wouldn't carry it by this large of a margin of victory, but he'd still probably carry it by a likely margin. Probably carry it by like 8 or 9%. Once again, if you're running for president, you probably win it by like a 6.5% margin of victory. But whatever, he'll probably carry it by a likely margin on the Senate level. Florida, I think that Ron DeSantis right now is looking at an insanely large margin of victory, especially for Florida, potentially double digits. Because I mean, like we can go look at this. He is popular in the state. Where is Ron DeSantis? He's pretty popular in the state. Right now, currently at a net, or not right now, but was at a net 26% approval rating. I mean, he had a negative 1% approval rating among Democrats. That's really, really good. But I think he'll likely get a lot of people that don't approve of him, or that approve of him voting against him. And I think that Nikki Fried is a pretty strong candidate. But I still think he'll probably carry it by a likely margin. I do think that like his handling of the COVID pandemic can be debated about whether or not it was better or worse than other states, because I've heard arguments both ways. I've heard arguments that it was better than like New York, for example, because they had less deaths per capita. I've also heard arguments that it's worse in New York because they had more cases per capita. So we can go back and forth about this. But a lot of people in Florida do like the way that he handled the pandemic. And he'll probably end up carrying it by a likely margin just because he's popular there. In the state of Iowa, or the states, I guess I can group these together, Iowa and Ohio. I already went over Iowa. Kim Reynolds, I mean, like, she didn't win it by a large margin of victory, but she'll probably be able to do well enough in the state. And I mean, like, she still carried a lot of these counties, especially in, like, this northeastern half or quarter of the state. And then in the state of Ohio, Mike DeWine won by a pretty large margin. He's the incumbent. He's going to be the incumbent. Ohio really likes incumbents. He's probably going to win by like 11%. And South Carolina, this was for the most part pretty expected. Henry McMaster, I mean, like, it could be safe. I doubt it though. It'll probably be something like a 10% margin of victory for him. Anyways, for the Democrats' lean states, Nevada, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, not Iowa. Iowa is a likely R state. Pennsylvania, and that is it. So, looking at this, Nevada, I mean, like, we can go look at Steve Sisolak's, if it'll let me come out, Steve Sisolak's performance. He won by a pretty large margin of victory. He won by 4.1% in 2018. This was more or less a blue wave. So I think that he will probably do well. Probably won by a smaller margin of victory, probably like 3, maybe. In the state of Wisconsin, we can go look at Tony Evers. I mean, like, he narrowly won. He won by 1.1%. Against an incumbent Scott Walker, however, so that I think those two kind of cancel each other out. It was a bit of a blue wave. However, he will be an incumbent. Ron Johnson will be on the ballot, and while I do think that Johnson is a pretty strong candidate for the Senate, I think that he will drive a lot of turnout. I think that I'm trying to find a good way to say this. He's a candidate that people would vote for, and that he'll he'll turn out a lot of people, or I guess he'll win. He'll turn out people, but these people, a lot of these white working class voters that may vote for him because they like Trump, may not vote, or may vote for Tony Evers. So it could be sort of counterintuitive. Pennsylvania, um, Tom Wolf is term limited, so it's not really clear who the Pennsylvania Democratic Party is going to run. Pennsylvania at this point in trial is like a lean D state, though. And considering the state that I mean, like, or the fact that Tom Wolf won by an insanely large margin of victory. Obviously, we're not going to see that for a random person who just runs. But considering the fact that he did, I think it's safe to state I'll probably be lean. For the Republicans, lean states, Kansas, and that is it. I mean, like, Laura Kelly is the incumbent, and she won, but it was against Chris Kobach, who is Kobach, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm just once again bad at pronouncing things. Who was not popular, or who was really despised. But I mean, she had a high approval rating. She had a higher approval rating among Republicans. But in a state like Kansas, it just won't be enough. She'll probably still lose by 4%. Even though it is one of the more competitive states, it's probably just not enough. Now, for the Democrats' tilt states, Arizona and Georgia. Now, in Arizona, Doug Ducey won't be running. I think that with Ducey, it's tilt red. Without Ducey, it is tilt blue. Normally I would be ranking this, lean blue, but there's no Democratic incumbent, which makes it harder for the Democrats. If there were a Democratic incumbent, I'll probably be rating it lean blue, but there isn't one, so I'm not gonna. I mean, Ducey won by very large margin of victory, but, I think that the Arizona GOP is just such an awful GOP that they're just not going to be able to run a strong enough candidate that's not Trumpist to do anything. Any Trumpist won't do well here other than Ducey, and he was an incumbent, and Ducey can't run. So, I mean, like, they're sort of screwed. And then Georgia, I mean, like, it's unclear who's going to run. The ticket for the Republicans in Georgia will probably be some combination of either some combination of two between Herschel Walker, Doug Collins, and maybe Kelly Loeffler. While the Democrats will likely be running Stacey Abrams and Raphael Warnock. Yes, there are these new voter suppression bills that have passed. I do think that the Democrats will probably be able to do well and probably beat them in court. A lot of them. And I mean, like, people probably find ways to organize and to vote. There are definitely ways. And I mean, like, there's a good chance that H.R. 1 is passed and that this bill isn't even relevant by 2022. But even then, Stacey Abrams is just such a strong candidate, especially in this voting rights, I guess, area, that I think she'll probably manage to carry it by a tilt blue margin. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Once again, not, great with this. If anyone in the comments could, if you know, let me know what happened in Rhode Island or whatever. Hoping everyone's okay. I have no idea. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Stay tuned for my next video tomorrow. I'm not quite certain what to do. I'm considering making videos where I react to, like, Red Eagle or LTE or UEP's videos. Because I watch, not all of them, but I do like, I would enjoy doing that type of thing, because I watch some of them, and I don't necessarily agree with everything that they do, but I still enjoy their channels. Like, for example, today LTE actually just uploaded a video where he did a 2022 Senate prediction. He labeled, Nevada likely red, so I'd kind of like to be able to do videos where I'm kind of just watching these and discussing why I agree or disagree. So if you guys want that, definitely let me know. But yeah, I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I'll see you all there. Bye.